Hi, welcome back to my channel. I'm Kyla and today we're just doing an MLM fails video. Before we get into it, I'm just gonna pop my Instagram up on the screen like I always do so you can give me a follow over there. It will also be linked down below. And if I look like I'm crying today, my allergies are kind of bothering me. So I'm okay, that's why. But we will get into the first video. Okay, so this first one is an Igenius rep and I'll have it up here on the screen.
Okay, so as for the second thing, Mondays are officially Money Mondays. Okay, so we're gonna talk all things money. And a few days ago, I posted about how in the previous like wars and like stuff like that, stocks tend to dip right before and then shoot up. Okay, so let me show you. This is crypto now, not regular stocks, but let me show you what happened. So that's our guy, our expert. We learn from him every single Monday. And we also have crypto talks on Wednesday as well. So we have those. We have so many different services. And honestly, I never come on here and talk to you guys enough about the services. So I will be breaking down a little bit of them. But one thing I do want to say is that, again, what I don't say enough is I'm not an expert trader whatsoever. I'm not even a good trader yet. I will be someday, but I'm not yet. I currently am just leveraging the experts, leveraging the people who have. You guys have seen, I literally showed you how many years he has in the game, right? And even more than that, because he was in it before he even made that post, right? So that's why this, this platform is so valuable, because we have all of these different experts, because there's so many different things that you can invest in, literally all in one place. So a little like off topic here, but I used to think that you needed to have like a lot of money. In reality, you don't need thousands and thousands of dollars to start investing. Even with our automated trading system, $2,500 and you can have a whole strategy set up. Like, that's crazy to me. Like, if I could have known about this a couple years ago, because, yeah, just life. But you know what? It's okay. And everything happens for a reason. But you can, I just want you guys to know that you can start investing literally with as little as $50. Like, I don't necessarily recommend just 50, but as low as. I also didn't know before this all the different things that you could invest in. Like, I literally had no idea about.
What happened to the markets after almost every invasion in the past? Vietnam, little dip, then boom. Gulf, dip, boom. Afghan, dip, boom, and then it kind of fell out. Iraq, dip, invasion, boom, after that was over. This one, dip, boom. Is it gonna happen again? What do you think in the comments?
Okay, so that is the first video. Sorry if the camera angle kind of changed a bit. During that, the first battery I was using died, which is really annoying. But anyways, yeah, obviously from what you can tell, I mean, like the girl in the video said, they're clearly not expert traders, and no one should be taking advice from people like this, because these are the type of people who, as we know, by knowing about Igenius, they're gonna say whatever they can to make the pitch sound good enough that you put your money into something, and chances are it's probably not going to do well. Even if it does, like, I mean, you could invest in anything and it could either not do well or it could do well. Like, you never really know, obviously. But you would be a lot better off paying someone to help you figure out what to invest and where to invest, as opposed to buying into Igenius, where you basically have to figure it out with a bunch of people who also don't know anything about what they're talking about. I get what they're saying. Like, typically people who want to buy into like stocks, crypto, anything like that, like, you obviously want to buy when it's lower so that if it goes up, your profit is bigger. Like, that's pretty basic math. But for them to not even touch on like the heartbreaking travesty that's going on in Ukraine right now, but instead to use it as a pitch for why you should join Igenius right now, it just is so insensitive. Like, yes, I understand when things are down, it might be a good time to buy certain things. Again, I'm obviously very evidently not an expert and I'm not recommending you to do anything, but it just, to me, seems so tone deaf and insensitive to be sitting on your Instagram saying, oh, look, like, buy this dip, buy the invasion and not even touch on the fact that what's going on is a total travesty. And this is by Not Your Hun, and this is their caption, which I 100% agree with. This is kind of what I was just trying to say there, but I feel like I didn't put it into very clear words. But they said, buy the invasion is what Igenius representatives are being taught. What? Maybe instead of watching the war unfold and keeping your fingers crossed it does good for your stocks and crypto bullshit, Igenius should provide a course in empathy and reading the room. Agreed. That's kind of what I was trying to say. Like, yes, obviously if things are down, you want to buy, like I said, whatever. But the fact that this is what they're pitching and they're basically seeing it as like a marketing tool, not doing it for me. Obviously, I don't know the most about crypto, but we'll move on to the next one. So this one is just another post of someone, pop it up right here. It's an MLM rep who is, again, using the war and invasion in Ukraine to almost pitch their MLM. So she says, so many emotions today, between helping friends try to escape Ukraine to helping my girls finish crushing their goals. So many highs and lows, and through it all, I'm so grateful to have something else to pour myself into because I get lost in the world and destruction. So with that, I have to share some huge news for our crew. And then I'm sure she just goes on to post about that. How awful do you have to be to take what's going on between Russia and Ukraine and the complete devastation that's hitting Ukraine right now and even compare it to your team and what's happening with your MLM and helping your girls crush their goals? Like, the fact that she typed those two sentences, helping friends escape Ukraine and helping my girls crush their goals. The fact that you can write those two things back to back and not second guess and think, maybe I shouldn't post this. It's just so weird how she obviously wants to sound like a savior too, like about how she's helping people and she's helping people reach their goals, and like she's just such a, basically a hero. It's just so cringe and so tone deaf. Obviously, I'm gonna say that a lot with any of these posts that have to do with what's going on. Anyways, not a lot to touch on with those. I know it's kind of boring probably when there's not a whole lot to say, but the main reason I think it's important to include even smaller posts like that is because, one, it serves as proof so that if there's backlash and those posts are deleted, we have documentation. I'm showing you the post, I'm reading it to you. But I also think it's really important to shed light on what these MLMers are doing and just the absolute toxicity that exists within network marketing and the way that they use current events to really push their narrative even further. Because a lot of the time, anti-MLMers will say things like how MLMs are bad because, you know, they take world disasters and they spin it to do their own thing. And the MLMers will come back and say, oh, well, no one does that. Like, I haven't seen any posts like that. And so it's like, well, now you have, right? Like, you can't claim ignorance when I'm showing you the proof. So to me, that's very important, just to like document that, show what's going on and just how wrong it is. But anyways, with that being said, we can move on to the next one.
Guys, I just need to vent for a second. So a lot of you guys who follow me know that I work with a brand called Monat. I have been using these products for 3.5 years. I don't normally come on here to even entertain something like this, but this girl just really got under my skin, and I just need to say something that, like, if any of my other followers are thinking this or whatever. So basically, somebody responded to a post that I posted about the business opportunity to work with me. I'm looking to work with some new people, bring on some new people onto my team. And her first thing was MLM question mark. And then the second thing was, your products cause hair loss. It's all over the internet. No, thank you. And like, it just irks me because, first of all, this is my business. Like, this is my business that I've worked with for 3.5 years. Why the fuck would I sell product? Would I ever sell a product if I knowingly know someone's hair will fall out from it? What kind of person do you guys think that I am? Like, I would never do that. But okay, you don't know me, whatever. Then to just call me sketchy, I said I didn't even say anything to you. How am I sketchy? And like, she was like, why do you keep responding then? Because I was like, I'm literally not going to argue with you. Like, I know I have safety tests to prove it. I have literally 1,000 resources besides my own hair, which is literally probably 24 inches long. I have no extensions. Literally, I have 1 million before and afters. Like, I don't know how else to prove to you. It just really bothers me because it's like, how are you going to tell me you know more about my products and my business in a 1-second Google search than I do? You don't. You just don't. And it just pissed me off.
Few things to say about that. The main thing is the fact that Monat rep specifically have to go to bat so hard for a company that isn't theirs. She kept calling it her business, but it's literally not her business because she didn't design and make the products. She doesn't have control over the marketing. She doesn't have control over the prices. She doesn't have control over anything at corporate. Like, she does not own the business, period. She paid to be able to sell the products, but that doesn't mean that she owns the business at all. Obviously, we know this. So I find it a little bit hilarious when MLMers get this offended and upset over a business that isn't theirs. It would be different if this was like, you know, a mom and pop shop that she opened and it truly was her own business and people were making false claims specifically, or like, you know, being rude, whatever. I can understand a little bit more being upset about that, but the fact that this is a massive like corporation, basically, I know they hate corporate, but it is a corporation at the end of the day. It's a massive company and it's not hers, more importantly, and it's going to be fine whether people think that it causes hair loss or not. Like, yes, I'm sure, especially when all those lawsuits first came out, a lot of people probably stopped selling it, stopped buying it or whatever, but obviously that's been a couple of years now and they are still going. So I don't know, I just feel like it's kind of cringe that they do have to go to bat so hard for a company that they don't own. Not only that, but she said that she has tons of resources, like thousands allegedly of resources that show safety tests and that the products are safe. Personally, I would love to see that, because you would think if there were that many vast resources claiming the products are safe, when you search, does Monat cause hair loss? You would think that those would come up at least somewhere, like within the first 1 to 2 pages of Google, if there were as many resources, credible resources, as she said. Now, obviously a quick Google search, like she said, like a 10-second Google search, whatever she said there, it's not always the most accurate, but when you're seeing lawsuit upon lawsuit, like actual published legal documentation of people filing lawsuits for hair loss, that is something to be taken seriously, and not even just because it's an MLM. There was the same claims about a brand called Diva Curl, which to my knowledge doesn't have any MLM component at all, and I personally wouldn't trust those products anymore either. A lot of Monat reps just want to say that like people are using that as like a reason to bash them, but to be honest, like I wouldn't care if it was an MLM or not. It's not just because it's an MLM, and it's not just because of my distaste for MLMs that I have a problem with this. I would have a problem with any brand having lawsuits. Even to talk about it, which I think we'll have a post here about this. I can't remember if I saved one, but some MLMers, specifically obviously Monat because it's hair, have been posting because recently Olaplex number 3, which is their like before you shampoo your hair treatment, there was an ingredient that was in it that has been banned in the UK. It's an ingredient that's for fragrance. I'll put the name of it up here because I don't know how to say it properly, but basically that ingredient was banned, and then after that Olaplex completely stopped formulating with it so that they're still able to sell in Europe, and they also stopped using that within products like in Canada and the US. So to me, like when I first read that, I wasn't just blindly like, oh well, I'm still gonna buy Olaplex, I don't. It was that supposedly that ingredient can be linked to fertility issues. As soon as I saw that, I'm not gonna lie, I was actually pretty freaked out because I was like, oh my god, I use Olaplex all the time. I learned that it was only in the number 3. I asked them like, hey, I use these products, I'm worried about it. I see that it's banned in Europe, but I live in Canada. Is that ingredient still being sold where I live? And they said to me that out of an abundance of caution, it's completely removed from any products. It actually started in January. So hopefully any that you buy now would not have that in it. Kind of telling that story because I think that MLMers, specifically Monat reps, a lot of the time think that we only care about lawsuits and that we only care about things like that when it has to do with them, but that's just completely not true. And to get back to the topic at hand with the video that we just watched as well, her calling it her business constantly is just so weird to me because, like I said, it really isn't. So the fact that she has to defend it so hard is just weird. Like, I just find it really bizarre. I guess that's all I have to say about that one. I mean, I would love to see the resources that she has, allegedly thousands, saying that there's tons of safety tests done to prove that the products are safe, because I've never heard of such a thing in all my research that I've done, which has been much longer than just like a couple minute Google search. But yeah, we'll move on to the next one. Okay, I'll play the next one here now.
So I'm sitting here and I'm eating soup from last night. I mean, we reheated it, but anyways, I just started watching those videos and I started thinking about how many people just like give up. Like, I watched my son do like a trick, try to do a trick. I don't even know how many times. Uncountable times, probably 100 times, like literally no joke, okay? And he would never, ever, ever, ever land it if he didn't try that many times to do it. And it's like, I feel like so many times in the business that I'm in, and this is for all of you market partners who are listening and you're giving up or you're half-assing it, you quit too soon. Like, you just don't you don't go hard enough. For every single time that someone said, yeah, it just didn't work for me, you guys, my bank account would be double, okay? But for real, like, quit giving up. Like, what other option do you have? Like, what do you have to lose? Like, you never do it and you give up, or you keep going and you eventually get it. I can't understand that mentality. I can't understand or relate the give up mentality at all. Like, I just can't do it, because it ultimately boils down to a decision. Like, you make a decision. You made a decision to quit. You made a decision that this business didn't work for you. You made a decision to do that. And it's like, that really sucks, because every single person can be super successful. Let's be real. Majority of people who quit this business do it either in the first week or the first month. They do. Majority of them. Okay? And they're like, oh, well, no one wanted to buy it from me, or no one wanted to join me. And it's like, well, you didn't talk to enough people then. Okay? Because I'm telling you that people want it and they need it, the product and the opportunity. And it's not as hard as people make it out to be. Like, it's really simple, guys. It's shampoo, okay? But what's hard is getting out of your comfort zone. And people aren't willing to do that. And they're like, you know what? I'll just give up. I'll just throw in the towel. Can't relate.
So that's that video. I found it really interesting how she was basically saying, like, you have to try it 100 times. You know, we always hear that, and she mentioned it with her son trying to do some trick 100 times. And I do feel like that's a little bit belittling, because she's almost saying, like, oh, well, my kid will try something 100 times, but you won't. But it's like, your kid doesn't have to pay to do that. To me, it just seemed a little bit like belittling to relate that to people quitting a business, which is supposed to be like a job, supposed to be something they're making money from, and it's something that they've also paid to be in. And then of course she's telling people, like, quit giving up, you know, stay in it, keep pushing. But of course she would be saying that, someone who's at the very top of a massive downline, because it only benefits her the longer people stay in. If they're able to recruit even like one person, it's not enough for them to live off of, but if she has 10,000 people all recruiting one person under her, that's a big paycheck for her. So I do find it really interesting, because I feel like with MLMers, people setting boundaries and deciding something doesn't work for them is like the worst thing that can happen for the uplines. And they say it like it's such a bad thing for people to make their own decision. Like she was saying, they decide after a week or a month that it's not for them. Okay, they're allowed to decide that. People are allowed to set that boundary and say, I'm done with this, I don't like it, I tried it and I don't want to do it anymore. Doesn't matter if it's a week, a month, years, like people are allowed to make their own decision. It's also interesting to me where she says people give up after a week or a month at best, but they're also told that they have 30 days money back guarantee, which by the way, I think there is a lot of stipulations with that. But I mean, of course they're gonna decide that within a month then. Why would they stay for 2 months? Now they can't get the money back for products they don't like or a business they don't want to work. She wouldn't say that obviously, because it's way more fun for her to be able to bash people who quit after a month. But like, you're telling them they have a 30-day money back guarantee. They literally will tell you, there's no risk, you have a 30-day money back guarantee, you can try it out, and if you don't like it, you can stop. But then as soon as you do that, this is the attitude. Oh, you're a quitter, you gave up, can't believe you quit after a month, you didn't wait long enough, that's why it didn't work. Which is it? Because you can't give people the option to quit after 30 days and then be upset when they do. And then she said, what option do you have? Which literally so many options, tons and tons of options. You have the option of getting a regular job. You could do something like DoorDash if you want like more casual hours. You could start a YouTube channel, you could start a blog, you could start selling things on Etsy, eBay. Like literally there's so many options you can do for like a side gig or even a main gig if you can make enough from it. I feel like these people who act like MLMs are your only choice, it's like, what kind of deluded world do you live in where that's the only option? Because there are people out here, tons of people mind you, that aren't in MLMs, that have 10 streams of income even, and they don't need MLM to be able to do any of that, or people working regular jobs. Like, I just don't get it. What makes you think it's the only option? Explain that, please, because that doesn't make any sense. At the end, like, well, I can't relate to that quitter mentality. And it just, again, it feels so belittling and rude to anyone who joined. I would also feel like if I saw this as someone who was thinking of joining, and maybe I saw her before talk about the 30-day money back guarantee and how you can try it out and then quit. If that was already in my mind and then I saw her post this about the people who quit, I would probably be like, you know what, never mind, I'm not doing it at all, because I don't want to be bashed online because I decided to quit when you told me I could. And for her to say too, I don't relate to that quitter mentality. Of course you don't. You're sitting on the top here, and now at this point you barely have to do anything because your downline's work is what's making your paycheck. That's that on that one. We'll move on to the next video. I know a lot of these are kind of shorter, so I'm sorry if that's a little bit boring, but it's just kind of what I could find that I wanted to touch on.
Service. I hope you can hear me. I won't be on long. But you know, I talked to a couple different people today who told me they found me because of an Instagram live like rant I did back during, I think, last summer or something. I'm not really sure. I think it was last spring. But I haven't been ranting. I haven't been going live. I really haven't been sharing my opinion, my personal and private opinion that has nothing to do with my family or my friends or any company or any group of people. Imagine that. Imagine.
Okay, I had to pause it right there. Her attitude and like the way she's saying all this is so off-putting. Like, my personal opinion. She's obviously triggered because the last time she shared her opinion, it came back to bite her.
That you have opinions that are only yours and that we're not of influence by anyone else. Imagine that you have opinions that you're not trying to influence other people, okay? So this is my opinion, and I'm not trying to influence other people. I'm just telling you my fucking opinion. Jesus Christ. It's like, disclaimer, 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 disclaimer. It's like I have to put all these fucking disclaimers up so that you don't think I'm talking about the opinions of my company or of a company that I work with or of my teammates or of my mother. Like, it's fucking ridiculous, the state of this world. So, this is what I want to tell you.
I don't even need to say it, but like, that behavior is so scary. Obviously, hopefully she actually gets into talking without screaming at her Instagram live, basically screaming at herself, because it's just a mirror reflection of what's recording. I don't know. I don't get it. Like, I can't imagine coming on here. I mean, yes, sometimes things like piss me off a bit. For instance, with the last video I did on this same rep, Angela, her comparing wearing masks to the Holocaust, for example. To me, that's extremely disrespectful and it does make me upset. But I can't imagine, like, just this tone. I can't even bring myself to this level when I'm speaking to basically myself in my room on a camera. Like, obviously I want to hear what you think, but like, at the end of the day, I'm in my room, I'm by myself, the only person I can see is myself in the viewfinder. It's just so weird to get this angry before she even got into it. Like, take a breath and then come back to it if it's making you feel like this. You don't have to go live. You don't have to share your opinion. Even if people ask you to, you don't have to. Anyways, we'll let her actually get into it, but like, we're about a minute in and it's just been her screaming about how this is her own opinion and getting so flustered and angry while she's driving, mind you, which to me doesn't seem very safe. She's on her phone while she's driving. I just think there's a better time for this, and this isn't it. And I think that if it's making her feel this way, maybe it's better not to engage in these lives and to be doing this, because it doesn't seem to be serving her well at all. But anyways, I'll let her actually talk now. I just kind of wanted to touch on that right away because just the tone and everything, I know it's really annoying to even listen to. So yeah, we'll keep watching.
What freedom means to me is that I am me. Freedom means that I am me and I get to be me. And I get to say what I want. Freedom to me means I get to work where I want. Freedom to me means I get to choose what I put in my body, whether it's water or an experimental drug, okay? Freedom to me means I get to put whatever jewelry and makeup on my face that I want to put on. Freedom to me means my life is none of your fucking business unless I invite you to participate in my life, and then I'm not asking your opinion. But freedom, here's freedom. Freedom means you can have an opinion about my life, and that's fine. I don't care if you have an opinion about my life. I don't care if you have an opinion about my opinions. I don't care if you have my opinions about my opinions on opinions. I don't care, because that is freedom. freedom means I am free. You are free. It's beautiful. It's amazing. So we live in this world right now where our freedoms are very slowly being taken away from us. And that's what this whole cancel culture is about. It's like, you can't have the freedom to say what you think, or I'm going to try to get you canceled. You can't have the freedom to wear a Glock earring, or I'm going to try to cancel you. You can't have the freedom to believe what you want to believe about God as a witch, or I'm going to try to cancel you. Like, I want you to understand, I'm going to lose service here in just a minute. I'm driving through the middle of nowhere in Wyoming. I want you to understand that these people that try to cancel, these people that try to, like these social justice warriors that think they're like saving the fucking planet, all they're doing, all they are pawns in the communism and socialism game. So
Okay, I have to pause right there again quickly. I'm sorry, I know I'm not letting her speak a lot. I just want to make sure I remember to touch on everything. But this is so interesting to me because in literally one sentence, basically, well, she said it in a bunch, but the overarching theme here is she's free to have her opinion. Other people are free to have their opinions about her opinions. But yet, if you try to cancel her for her opinion, or if you try to hold accountability is what I would like to call it. It's not really canceling if what you say is abhorrent and people bring attention to that. But she's saying if you try to cancel her, you're just a pawn to communism, which a lot of you guys brought up in the last video, which if you haven't seen it, I'll link it up here and down below, that she has no idea what communism is. And a lot of the time, what she's describing as communism is just consumerism. Point blank, period. She's talking about big corporations and about how they try to escape taxes, and apparently to her, that's communism. No, I'm not going to pretend I know the most about it, just like in the last video, but you guys really did help me understand a lot more in the comments of the last video, so thank you so much for that. But basically, she's blaming it, saying it's communist, which, you know, whatever, mess off with that. But she is saying basically that you're not free to hold her accountable. So freedom for her is important, and you're free to have your opinion, but if you express it, if you express your opinion about her opinion, you're wrong and you're a pawn to communism. Make that make sense. It doesn't make sense. And then for her to go on about how your freedoms are being slowly taken away, and obviously with this, it seems like based on her action that she was doing a minute ago, that she's most likely referring mainly to like mandates with masks. That was a big thing in the last video, vaccine mandates and stuff like that. Now, what I'll say is it just comes off as incredibly tone deaf to compare your choice, like it is a choice to get a vaccine or wear a mask, to losing freedom when we see what's happening in Ukraine, where they're literally just in their houses existing and being attacked by countries who want to steal their land and invade, basically. I know she's not directly comparing it, but I couldn't imagine sitting in my apartment here, you know, I've got my candles, I'm comfortable, I'm safe, and I'm healthy, which is a huge blessing. For me to say, oh, well, my freedoms are being taken while I know what's going on across the world. I'll let her keep talking, but the main thing for me that I just find really interesting about this is kind of like I just said, how she's saying you're free to have your opinion, but if you try to cancel her, aka hold her accountable for what she has said, then you're a pawn to communism. And I mean, she would say that. That would be convenient for her if people would stop holding her accountable for the awful things she's saying. But I mean, if she wants to claim that we're all free to have our opinion, then people like me, who have brought this to light, are allowed to have that opinion. If people want to message Monat and say, hey, is this what you want representing your company? They're allowed to do that. I'll play that here now.
So all these people who are trying to tell you how you can speak, tell you how you can live, tell you whether you can have your nipples out or not, tell you what you can say, tell you how you can live. All these people that spend their time on the internet, they are pawns in the communism and socialism game, okay? So when I state my opinion about anything that I want to state my opinion about, I want you to know that there are people who actively peruse the internet all day long to try to work towards socialism and communism so that everything we say is censored. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to censor myself. I'm not going to make myself more copacetic for you. I'm not going to put a bra on to make you happy. I'm not going to stop saying that I'm a conservative witch to make you happy. I'm not going to do anything to make you happy because I'm free. And when I say freedom is a choice, okay, what I mean is, even if I'm enslaved, even if I'm being burned at the stake, I can still choose to be free. So, I choose to be free. I do. That's my personal, God-given right, is to choose to be free no matter what another tries to do to me. Ooh, that's a book title. That is a book title. Anyway, I'm going to lose service. I'm going to go. But I wonder what freedom means to you. If you can go to the replay of this and just drop a line, I would love to see that and hear that. And I love you and I hope you're having the best day of your whole entire life. Even if you don't like me, I still wish you're having the best day of your life. I still love you. Even if you don't like me, I still love you because I'm free and I can do whatever the fuck I want to do. Include love you even when you don't love yourself. You're welcome.
Okay, that's the end of the video. I just find it funny, like the projections. She's here, again, getting so mad at her camera, but then she's saying that anyone who doesn't like what she says just doesn't love themselves. Right. You know, how am I going to sleep tonight? Now that she's called me out on that. I don't know. One thing that she said here is, towards the end actually, was saying, I'd love to hear what freedom means to you. And then when I click on the comments on this post have been limited. So no one can actually share their opinion. They're not free to share their opinion, even though she asked for it. Interesting. I wonder if she got feedback she didn't like and then deleted it and shut them down. But anyways, I also find it weird, I guess, how she's saying how she's free to like not wear a bra and do all this stuff. And then she's talking about social justice warriors, but like the whole free the nipple movement and all that was pretty much like by social justice warriors. So I don't know. It just seems so weird to me because she's like bashing people who like advocate for things, but at the same time, like a lot of what she's saying she wants to do, typically people who are not conservative are advocating for those things. So yeah, it's just kind of bizarre to me. She says she's the conservative witch, but it seems like the only matter that she's really conservative on is like not wearing masks and no mandates and that kind of stuff. And again, her saying freedom is a choice and that even if she's enslaved, she chooses to be free. And again, that's easy for her to say when she's driving her SUV through the middle of nowhere and doesn't have to worry about that being a reality for her. I'm sure she would feel a lot differently if she actually was enslaved, God forbid. And I don't think that she would say, I'm choosing to be free because I can speak my opinion. It just shows how wildly privileged and uneducated she is when she's saying that even if she was like enslaved and whatever, she would still choose to be free. You know, says the white woman driving her car through Wyoming with a gun earring on. It's just ridiculous. I don't know if she saw my video because in my last one I did ask like you guys, oh, is that a gun earring? I just noticed it. I honestly don't give a shit. I don't know if she watched that and that's what she was touching on or if other people were commenting about that as well. I didn't say she has to take it off. I don't care what jewelry or makeup she wears or anything. I don't care if she wears a bra. None of that. Doesn't matter to me at all. The overarching theme here is that she thinks she's so free, but anyone who expresses an opinion that doesn't agree with her, they're just pawns to communism and socialism, and that these people are paroling the internet looking for things to call out. Again, not true. If I see it and it comes into my field of view, I'll call it out if I don't like it. I might post on my story. I might post a YouTube video. This is literally my job. Not even like the most engaged activists are probably constantly paroling the internet looking for stuff like that. It's more so you see it and if you have an opinion about it, you can share. Because you're free. Ironic, isn't it? That's kind of that on that one. Her attitude was the main thing I noticed because again, I think that if she's getting like this triggered about talking about stuff like that, she really doesn't have to, or she can talk about it with people she knows will agree with her because clearly people disagreeing is really difficult for her. So I don't know, I think that that's something that she could maybe work through and she would probably feel a little bit better about that. But anyways, we'll move on to the next video here. Let me just see what else I have. Okay, we'll move on to the next video. I just want to address the candles are now blown out. I blew them out to take a break from my lunch and I unfortunately got candle wax on my bed. So I don't trust myself to put them back on, so they're just back there not lit now. Anyways, so we'll move on to the next video. This next video is of the same Monat rep. I swear I'm not targeting her. I just saw a whole lot about her recently. Obviously, I think that everyone was kind of reposting her content a lot more, so it just happened to be what I saw more of, but I'll play it up here now.
I need you to know something. What a boring world we would live in if we all agreed on everything. I will never understand people who seek to change someone's mind. How long have you been a human? And I don't know about you, but I have been very unsuccessful in like changing people's minds. You can't change someone's mind when you're trying. You change someone's mind through being the example. Got it?
Anyway, so that's a quick video. Anyway, so that's a very quick video there. But obviously, again, given my last video about the same rep, I do find it really interesting how she's saying that she doesn't seek to change people's mind. When in the last video, like, it really did seem like if you're not on her side, you're against her and you're basically just like a huge communist supporter and like all the stuff that she said. But this was really funny too. So this is a clip that was shared by an account called Detective Lovey. Again, I'll have everyone linked down below. But they shared the clip I just showed you and then like right back to back with another very contradictory clip. So I'll play that here now. It's just really interesting because she's saying she doesn't seek to control or change what other people do.
And I saw this woman and she had her little girl with her, and her little girl, I shit you not, was walking around like this. And so I'm like, I'm about to go over there. It takes a village. You're about to get raised. Okay. I go over there and the mom has her like little flimsy fucking nothing paper piece of shit over her, you know, breathing holes pulled down. And the little girl's doing this. And I smile. I'm like, hey, why are you doing this? And she was like, I forgot my, in the car and my mom won't let me go get it by myself. And I said, you don't have to wear that. You're free. Like, you don't have to put that on. And she looked at her mom like this. What? I don't have to put it on? And I was like, you don't have to put it on. And she took her hands down. And she stood up taller. And I was like, I don't ever put one on. I'm completely free. They can't tell you what to do. That's your face. That's your body. It's your health. And the mother was just like stunned. She was looking at me and I looked at her and I was like, you can do better. Take it off.
I don't care really if Angela wants to wear a mask or not. The fact that she can't even say the word mask, that was kind of funny. She says she was wearing a, she won't say it. It's a mask. You can say it. She has to call it a face diaper. She could have said that. But anyways, that contrasting the last video where she's saying she's not trying to tell anyone what to do, but then she's telling this mother to take the mask off, that she can parent her kid better, and literally telling someone else's child what they do or don't have to do when they're in public, which like, if this was me, I would have had so many words. Like I would have been like, you're not telling me or my child what they can and can't do. You're not parenting my kid for me. I didn't ask for your advice or your opinion. But I mean, chances are the story might not have even happened. Like that's a possibility as well, or she's not telling the full story. But again, I just find that really interesting because literally in the last clip she was saying how she doesn't tell people what to do, and she ends this one off by saying, take it off, you can do better. Why are you telling other people they can't wear a mask then if you're not telling people what to do or you're not trying to change their minds, right? Okay, and this is the last post I'm going to share. It is just a post. I'll have it up on the screen here. But this is kind of touching on what I mentioned earlier about Olaplex. But yeah, so this is shared by a Monat rep who says, go ahead and tell me cleaner ingredients don't make a difference. This is why I preach about the products I use. And it says Olaplex users warned over link to infertility and harm to fetuses. And then she posts like an article about that. Now, like I said, I kind of touched on it a little bit before, but just to reiterate, basically Olaplex number 3, which is one of their products, not the main one like the shampoo or conditioner, but it's before you wash, you put it in damp hair, you leave it in. It's almost like a hair mask, but it's before you shampoo rather than after the fact. Okay, so it's an ingredient, I'll put the proper name up right here, more commonly known as liliol, which I probably am still pronouncing that wrong, but anyways, basically that ingredient was linked with infertility. Now, that's not to say that it absolutely will cause infertility, especially where it's used for fragrance and product and you're not actually ingesting it, it's just sitting on mainly the ends of your hair, which are dead anyways. But the EU banned that ingredient. So as I mentioned, Olaplex stopped formulating with it in their number 3. They stopped formulating with it the whole world, like globally, even though it is just banned in the EU, not everywhere else. But anyways, Olaplex has since stopped selling that ingredient. But this is really interesting because they're saying, go ahead and tell me cleaner ingredients don't make a difference. I was looking into it and there are a lot of Monat products that at least used to contain that exact same ingredient. Now, again, I know Monat always brags about following EU standards, so they very well could have done what Olaplex does and they don't formulate with it anymore. But I will post up some pictures on the screen here of products with the ingredient highlighted where they did have them. Like I think it was their volumizing spray. There was a couple of them that I found that I literally just searched it up online. It was pretty easy to find that. So for them to brag about their cleaner ingredients, I mean, Olaplex is a clean brand if you look at it like Sephora or whatever. But again, clean doesn't really mean anything. Like it's not a regulated term. Anything can be listed as clean. And a lot of times the things that clean brands say they formulate without are stuff that would probably never be in products anyways. It's just a way for them to say like, oh, we don't use this and this. I just wanted to touch on that because there are Monat products that have the same ingredients. And this was again shared by Detective Lovey, who wrote the caption, "I knew it was a matter of time before a market partner decided to call out the ingredient," I can't say it, "in other products. Who's gonna tell her it's found in the Champ Dry Shampoo, Rejuvenate Light, both hairsprays, Revive Shampoo and Conditioner, Flexible Hold Gel, and More Than a Mist. Products with this ingredient must be off the shelves and not sold in the EU starting March 1st, 2022. Okay, so they also commented on their post here. A follower pointed out that the ingredients is listed on the back of the bottles of their Renew shampoo and the Restore leave-in conditioner, although it is not listed on the website. Check your bottles. So that's really interesting. Obviously, maybe the bottle they had was old, because we know that Monat reps literally have shelves, like it looks like a store in their house, a lot of them, with how many products they have. So it could be that on the website it has the newer formulation that's currently being sold, which might not have it, whereas the old ones did have it. But if anything, that just says to me that all these people with their shelves and shelves full of product probably all have products sitting in their shelves with this exact same ingredient that they're now bashing. That was kind of the last thing I wanted to touch on today. Let me know if you enjoyed this video down below, or what your thoughts were on the clips that I showed. And with that being said, I will catch you in the next one. Bye.